without responsibility. You can't get honor, prestige, status, and you have nothing to do. Once you are khayra ummatin, best of people, it carries that amount of responsibility. So Allah Bari Ta'ala, in this day and age, He has chosen us. And He is warning us that, O Muslims, if you turn back from your duties and responsibilities, which He has imposed upon you for giving you this high and noble status, He will substitute in your place another people. يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. Another people, a foreign people. ثُمَّ لَا يَكُنُوا أَمْثَالَكُمْ. Then they won't be like you. You don't carry out your responsibilities, out you go. The Imam doesn't do his job, what do you do? Get another Imam. The Muazzin, he doesn't make your fajr, what do you do? Replace him. Your bosses, you don't do your job, what does he do to you? Fire you. The manager doesn't do his job, he'll be fired. This is the law. Irrevocable law. It's unchanging law. You don't do your job, out you go. You being the khaira ummatin, you don't do anything, and Allah will keep you there on the pedestal. Because you are Malay, you are a Pakistani, you are an Arab. No, nothing, no favoritism with him. He's got no favorites. You don't do your job, get out. I'll put somebody else in your place. You don't do the job, get out. I'll put somebody else in your place. That's his law. And this law is an eternal law, unchanging law. He's doing it all the time. In the religious history of man, in the first instance, He chose the Jews, Bani Israel. You know that? He sent prophets after prophets to them. Out of the 4 heavenly books that we Muslims, we say we believe in, we say we believe in the Torah, we believe in the Zabur, we believe in the Injil, and we believe in the Furqan. The Furqan is the Quran. Out of the 4 books, 3 of them, 75% of the books are Jewish books. You know that? Books given to Jews. Hazrat Musa alayhi salam is Jew. He was given the Torah. Hazrat Dawud alayhi salam is Jew. Was given the Zabur. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam is Jew. He was given the Injil. Jew. Out of the 4 books, 3 are Jewish books. 75% Jewish books. We say we believe that they were sent by Allah. He chose them. He sent prophets after prophets to them. Some of the names we give our children, we say Musa, Jewish name. Dawud, Jewish name. Ishaq, Jewish name. Yahya, Jewish name. You know that? Jews, our children, we give them Jewish names. Why? Because these are the names of the righteous servants of God. We are not ashamed to give these names to our children. But the fact remains that Allah chose them. He sends prophets after prophets to them to do a certain job of work. They didn't do it. They didn't fulfill their obligation. So a Jew among the Jews, Hazrat Isa alayhi salam, he is telling his people according to the so-called Injil, the New Testament of the Christians. Hazrat Isa alayhi salam is made to say, and the kingdom of God, this high position, this honor, this status, will be taken away from you and given to a nation bringing forth the fruits thereof. This position that you are holding will be taken away from you and given to somebody else. And who that somebody else will be? A nation that will produce fruits. You don't produce fruits? Cut it off. Burn it. Trees that don't bear fruit, what do you do with the trees? Just an ornament? Doing nothing? Chop it off. Useless. Occupying valuable space. You too, you do the same, chop it off. Replace you. So Hazrat Isa alayhi salam told the Jews that you will be displaced by somebody else. And there is another law seems to be at work, that when He displaces one group of people by another, almost invariably that people who displaces you, who replaces you, is a nation, is a community that you have been looking down upon. That's Allah's punishment. The one you look down upon the most, He makes them to sit on your head. You're looking down upon the Bantus, Then one day Allah will make them to sit on your head. You look down upon the Bushman, the Hottentot, you can make them to sit on your head. The people you are looking down upon, He says, make them to sit on your head. Now you feel something. You still feel that we were the master race, we are less than that. Down in the gutter you. You serve now. In Syria, the Muslims, the Sunnis, people like you and me, we are the Sunnis. We say we follow the Sunnah, the example of the Prophet ﷺ. The Sunnis, 80% of the people are Sunnis. They ruled Syria. They were a certain group of people called the Alawites. Alawis. Syrians, but they belong to a different community. They believe that Hazrat Isa alayhi salam is God. Same like the Christians say Jesus is God, they say Hazrat Ali is God. And the Sunnis, they exploited these people, as we exploit the African. They exploited them. They won't send their sons to the army. That's for these low down people, low caste, the Alawites. Let them go and join the army, let them go and join the police force. Our sons, we're going to do business. Our sons, we're going to become clerks and professionals. Okay. Who'll do the dirty job? The Alawites. The Alawites. Who's going to work in your house? Those girls are working in your house? The Alawis. They work in your house. As nannies looking after your children. Very good relationship. Now you got slaves. Slaves in the days, in the 20th century, you got slaves working for you. They are your slaves. Allah turned the tables. That less than 20% of the people are now ruling 80% of the Syrians. Unimaginable, you can't imagine it. يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. There is a law at work. Why won't you learn? You don't do the job. You don't dirty your hands. No, you don't dirty your hands. You don't do policing. You don't join the army. And this guy must be this low caste. That low caste fellow. Right. So now he's got the army, the weapons. One day coup d'etat, toppling the government, and he's now set in position. The 20% is ever there to subjugate you and keep you down. 80% is keeping 80% down. Allah Bari Ta'ala, in His wisdom, He displaced the Jews. By who? By the Arabs. These Jews were looking down upon the Arabs for 3,000 years. They said, you see, Father Ibrahim alayhi salam, he had two wives, Sarah and Hajara. They say, the Jews, that Sarah was his legitimate wife. He entered into a contract with her. But Hagar, this Hajara, was a bondwoman, a slave woman. She was actually a princess of Egypt. The ruler of Egypt, he presented her to him. But the Jews, because of their hatred, they say she was a bondwoman, a slave woman. As such, her children count for nothing. They call the Arabs Hagarenes, children of Hagar, Hagarenes. And the religion is Hagarism. This is the insulting way they speak about the Arabs, their cousins, and the religion, Hagarism. For 3,000 years they were looking down. I think there might be some windows open on the top. There is a draft coming directly. It can't be air conditioned. I think it must be some windows. Is there a floor on the top? Because I can see the draft is coming right on my head. I don't know how long I will last with this cold. You know, I'm getting colder by the minute. Yeah, it's warmer here. Yes, there is a world of difference. If your president can come a little closer, it will be much nicer. So they were looking down upon their Arab cousins. Good for nothing. In the sight of the Jews, the Arabs are good for nothing. Barbarians, illiterates, ummi people. And Allah Bari Ta'ala chooses them and makes them to sit on the heads of the Jews. But now once He puts you on the pedestal, it is not forever. You have to do the work, produce the fruits. You don't produce the fruits, يَسْتَبْدِلْ قَوْمًا غَيْرَكُمْ. He'll substitute in your place another people. That's the law. Allah, why don't people learn? That's the law. So the Muslims spread out. They went as far as Spain, as far as the Atlantic coast. They went and conquered Spain, and they ruled that country for 800 years. Muslims ruled the European nation, Spain, for 800 years. No Christian nation has ever ruled Muslims for that period of time. Do you know that? The longest that they ever ruled was in Mozambique, the Portuguese. See, Mozambique is a Muslim territory. Even today, 60% of the people of Mozambique are Muslims. Here, next door to us. This place was an Arab outpost, trading post. And there was a governor there when the Portuguese came along and conquered them. There was a governor by the name of Musa bin Baik. Musa bin Baik was the governor of that territory. When the Portuguese, with his superior gun power, he came and knocked hells into them and conquered the place. Whose place? Musa bin Baik. They couldn't say Musa bin Baik, so they say Mozambique. That's how the name Mozambique comes about. The Muslims went crossed the straits, the sea between Africa and Spain, and landed at a place, Jabal. They called that mountain Jabal al-Tariq. Tariq was the commander who crossed over from Africa to Spain, and the place where they landed, they called that mount Jabal al-Tariq. Now, the Westerners, they call it Gibraltar. Jabal al-Tariq, they say Gibraltar. The Muslims went as far as the Philippines. They had the trading post there. Ma'manullah. By the help of Allah, they reached there. Ma'manullah. They say Manila. Muslim. The longest that the Christians ever ruled Muslims was in Mozambique for 500 years. They ruled your motherland, Indonesia, for 300 years, the Dutch. 300 years. Longest was in Mozambique, 500 years. The Muslims ruled Spain for 800 years. What were they doing? Muslims were having a jolly good time. He has chosen us. And he's warning us that, O Muslims, if you turn back from your duties and responsibilities, which he has imposed upon you for giving you this high and noble status, he will substitute in your place another people without responsibility. You can't get honor, prestige, status, and you have nothing to do. Once you are khayra ummatin, best of people, it carries that amount of responsibility. So Allah Bari Ta'ala, in this day and age, yastabdil qawman ghayrak, another people, a foreign people, thumma la yakunu amthalakum, and they won't be like you. You don't carry out your responsibilities, out you go. The imam doesn't do his job, what do you do? Get another imam. The muazzin, he doesn't make your... You being the khayra ummatin, you don't do anything, and Allah will keep you there on the pedestal. Because you are Malay, you are a Pakistani, you are an Arab. No, nothing, no favoritism with him. He's got no favorites. You don't do your job, get out. What do you do? Replace him. Your bosses. You don't do your job. What does he do to you? Fire you. The manager doesn't do his job, he'll be fired. This is the law. Irrevocable law. It's unchanging law. You don't do your job, out you go.